All right, welcome to task 9, factors and multiples. So when we start factors and multiples, we're going to need to look at our, we're going to want to look at our multiplication chart, especially in this first section. We might look at factors and multiples again when we are talking about, or when we grab our calculators later in the semester. But in this section, when we don't have our calculators, our multiplication chart is really going to be a big help for us. So let's get started. All right, so if we're looking for our first 8 multiples of the following numbers, multiples, if you think about writing our multiples, we are going to be multiplying. So if you think about what multiplying means, it means when our numbers get bigger, right? So multiples, we're going to be multiplying. All right, this is getting bigger. This is kind of, if you think about it, is skip counting. All right, so if you think about kind of setting up your template, we want the first 8. So we're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to make 8 lines for ourselves, and we always want to start with our first. So this is going to be 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4. And if you think about it or look at it, it's always that number, right? So there's that 5, and then the spot in the template, right? So here's our first spot, our second spot, our third spot, our fourth spot, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So if you look at your multiplication, so we come back here and we're going to write them. So 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 was 15, 5 times 4 was 20, and again, hopefully you have yours right next to you so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth. 5 times 5 would be 25, 5 times 6 would be 30, 5 times 7 would be 35, and 5 times 8 would be 40. All right, so doing it for 12, again, we're going to set up our template, 6, 7, 8. 12 times 1 is 12, 12 times 2 is 24, and again, think what you're doing, you're adding 12, right, each time. All right, so that's where that skip counting or repeated addition comes from. So, and again, if you want to go old school or just multiply each one, you can do it that way from last week as well. So 24 plus 12 gets you 36, plus 12 gets you 48, plus 12 gets you 60, plus 12 gets you 72, plus 12 gets us 84, plus 12 gets us 96. All right, now 17. 17, not necessarily numbers, I know off the top of my head. So I know the first one, 17. Maybe I know the next one. So 17, 34. I know 17 times 2 off the top of my head, but I don't know the rest. So 51, 68, 85, 102. All right, 119, 136. All right, and then 25. 25, I know is like counting quarters. So if I have 1 quarter, I have 25 cents, then 50 cents, 75 cents, and then $1. 125, 150, 175, and then $2. So if I have 8 quarters, I have $2. All right, so let's look at this next section. So now I'm going to circle all my numbers, which are multiples of the given number. This you're really going to be looking at, we're going to be looking for rules. So what I mean by that is this. There's certain rules that you have. So 10, the rule for 10, that's going to be anything that ends with a 0. All right, so anything that ends with a 0 is going to be 50, 20, 30, and 80, right? Because when you skip count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, you go on and on and on. We come back over here, 7. So 7, you know, there's not actually there might be some obscure rule, but I don't know a rule. So if I'm thinking about my 7s, maybe I just want to write a couple of them out because these are all pretty small numbers to come up with. So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, 84, 91. So I'm up past all these numbers here. So which ones are common? Well, there's 21, there's 14, 50 is not on there, 56 is on there, 7's on there, 76 is not on there because there's 77, and 70 is on there. So it's going to be 21, 14, 56, 7, and 70. All right, 5 we kind of just talked about. 5s are definitely going to end with zeros. So 5 ends with a 0, or so a 0 or a 5. All right, so I can grab the 65, the 25, the 2,000, the 3,525, the 6,510, the 5,205, and the 450. I don't care what else is in the number. I just know it has to end with a 5 or a 0. And then we're actually going to change this one up a bit because I want to teach you one other one. 2, well, I'll give you, hang on. 2 is actually, that's even. So any even number, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0, ends with. Okay, ends with a 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. But what I want to actually change this problem to is a 3. What that is you have to add up the digits. The sum will be divisible by 3. Now you might be like, oh, that's not like, it's not an easy one, but it's not terrible either. You're looking for the sum to be a 3, a 6, a 9, a 12, a 15. It's not going to get much bigger than that. So again, you're looking for 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, maybe 18, okay? So that's what you're looking for your sum to be. So let's try some. If you add up these, 12, 13, so that's not going to be it. You add up these, that's a 9, that's going to be it. You add up these 9, 10, that's not going to be it. You add up these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so that one's going to be divisible by 3. 7, so that's not it. 5 and 5 is 10, that's not going to be it. 5 plus 1 is 6, that's going to be divisible by 3. 4, 4, and 4 gives you 12, so that's going to be divisible. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 is going to be 12, so that one will be divisible. 9, 11, 15, so that one will be. And 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 will not be divisible. So 3 is actually, that's a good little trick because you see, you add up the numbers real quick. If it's a 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, or 18, or again, you can go higher than that, but that would have to be a pretty big number for you to be adding up past that. And that's it. All right, let's go on to the next page. And I know that I'm done. So in chart, here's that 5, and we can either look going down or going across. Okay, and it's going to be these numbers. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, 5 times 5 is 25, then 30, then 35, then 40. And again, if we were looking across, that would get us our same numbers. Either one is going to work. And if you think, if you can't, like, oh, well, which spot is it, you're going to use the other column or the other row. So if we're thinking 5 times, there's the 1, right? So 5 times 1 gets us the 5. 5 times 2 gets us the 10. 5 times 3 gets us the 15. 5 times 4 gets us the 20. 5 times 5 gets us the 25. So we always take the top number, the side number, and we get that number in our actual grid. So we kind of see what our numbers, your multiplication chart, and you're looking at this 12. Hopefully these numbers match. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96. If you kept going, that would be more of your numbers. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab 17 and I'm going to look down this row. So 1734. Okay, 51, 68. 85, 102. 119, 136. That was right? 119, 136. Good. You look at your multiplication chart and I erase all this nonsense. Okay. If you look here at the tens column or the tens row, all of those end with a 0 all the way down. Now, are there other ones in here that end with a 0? Yeah, but if you look, where do they end up? Like all, okay, so 5, some 5s end with 0, but if you look, there's a pattern to it. 5s end with 0 every other, okay? And you look, here's my other 5s. Here's my 0s, but look, that was also my row of 10. So it's my row of 10 and my column of 10. Are there any others? Yes. Okay. But look, that is like 15 and 16. So yeah, there are some that end with 0s, but again, those are just, they're random ones that fall within there. But 10s have to end with 0. So again, it's the have to. Over here and look at your multiplication chart. What do 5s also end with? 5s can either end with a 0 or a 5. And I'm just going to jump back here for a second and we're going to clear this. All right. And basically, the number that you start with on top is the number that you're looking for in here. All right, so like 11, we're looking for where it happens in here. Okay, and that realistically, like, where does it happen? How many times does it happen? We don't, I don't know, like, I don't want to necessarily sit here and find it all over this chart, but ultimately, like, if we're looking at a number like 11, well, look at some of these numbers. Like over here, it's not happening over here, right? It's not happening over here to the right and the bottom of this multiplication chart. It's not happening over here. Oops, it's not happening over here. It's happening up here. It's happening here, right? That's where we're seeing the number 11. It is not happening down here in where these numbers are like hundreds. So it's going to be easy for us to find. But here's the deal. We have to find it every time it happens. So you can't miss one, because if we miss one, then we haven't found all the factors. So the way we want to do it is we want to start methodically. And we want to say to ourselves, okay, you can either work rows or columns. It's up to you. Do you work horizontally better or do you work vertically better? So I personally like working with the columns. That's just for me. So when I look vertically here, do I see the number 11? And yes, I do. It's right here. So I basically need to find the partners that go with that number 11 there. And all that means is I want to find the number on the top and I want to find the number on the side. So that's 1 and that's 11. So now I want to come over here and I want to say, okay, 2, my column of 2. Do I see the number 11? And as soon as I get to 12, I'm done, because as soon as I see 12, it's like, it's over for me, right? Because it's past my number. And I'm going to do that all the way up. So 3, there's 12, I'm done. 4, there's 12, I'm done. 5, there's 15, I'm done. 6, there's 12, I'm done. 7, there's 14, I'm done. And again, I'm just going to the number that's above 11. So I can't stop until I'm right over it. 8, there's 16, so I'm done. 9, 18, I'm done. 10, 20, I'm done. Okay, here's 11 again. So I see 11, so I have to stop because I'm looking for 11. So because I found 11, I have to grab my partners, and my partners are 11 and 1, because remember, I want the top number and the side number. So I always write, because I'm going column, I always want to write the top number first and then the side number. So because I wrote 1 first, then I wrote 11, I want to write the 11 and then the 1. Notice how, sorry, so I'm going to clear this because I want to get rid of this. All right, so 15. So I'm looking until I see 15. So here it is. So I'm writing 1 and 15. Again, I'm always so I come back over here and now I do it with the 2s. And I'm going until I see a number bigger than 15. So 16, I can stop. 3s. Okay, there's another 15. So I'm writing 3 and 5. Come back and I keep going. 4, I don't see 15. 5. 5, I see 15. But what do I have? I have 5 and 3. I might not have a multiplication chart big enough because I could go all the way down this aisle, this column, right? I can go all the way down this column and I'm not even going to hit 36, right? Go all the 2 column. 2, I need to go down, 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 down until I see 36. Well, there it is. So it's 2 times 18. Oh, okay. So now what about 3? 3 times, oh, there it is. So it's 3 times 12. All right, and then 4. I go up to 4. 4, there's 36, so 4 times 9. 5. 5 is the first time I don't see 36. It goes from 35 to 40. I go to 6, and now 6, there's, oops, I'm erasing. 6 times, there's 36, and look, 6 times 6. Well, what happens when the next one I'm going to find, look, 7 doesn't work. There's no 36. 8 doesn't work. There's no 36. 9 works. There's 36. But look, 9 and 4. Then I can look at 2. Got to come over here and erase. All right. Look at 2. 2. There's no 51. 3. Oh, there's 51. So 3 times 17. So even though you could be looking, because it is an odd number, you could be looking for a whole long time. 4, and again, you can kind of start getting good where you don't need to go down the whole column. Just look in that range. We're looking for 51. So there's where it would be between, and it's not there. 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 All right, and you kind of get the point. That's the next time we see it. But what do you notice? It's 17 times 3. You want to go to that multiplication chart, go to each row, okay, and look for that number. Remember, you're only looking for that number, so you don't have to necessarily go down each row, but look for that number 60. So we did 1, 2, and I don't know if I did 3, but I'm looking for 60, right? So here's 60, 60, 60, 60. You kind of see how much it shows up in this one. 60, 60, 60, 60. And then by then, when you get really down close to it, you probably know that you've flipped at some point. So I get 3 times 20, which I think I wrote. And then I was looking 4 times 15, 5 times 12. And you look. All right, 3. We're looking for 72. There it is. It's 24. We come back to this multiplication chart. We look in the 3, and we look for that 78, and it's right there. So it's going to be 26. 78, I don't know, so I look for the 78. Not there. Not there. There's 78, so it's going to be 6 times 13. I don't see 78 there, or there, or there, or there, or there, or there. The next time I see it is there is 13 times 6, and that's in my head. And I don't want to, again, you could divide all of these, but call me lazy. I just like using the multiplication chart because it makes my life easier. I go ahead and find it in my multiplication chart in the 5th row or 5th column. I find 120 right there, and I go over, and that's 24. Maybe I look for 8 right here. And I go over here, and it's 50. All right, we're going to list all the factors. So this is, we got to get good at this. If I could pick the single most important thing in this whole class for Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, especially Algebra 2, it would be this, okay? So I'm telling you right now, if I had to pick the single most important thing for Algebra 2 that I could teach you, it would be this, listing your factors, okay? Now, ultimately in Algebra 2, you'll be able to use your calculator, but if you can do this without your calculator, you're going to want to be able to, because it's just quicker. You don't want to have to rely on your calculator. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to basically take your number, okay, and you're going to want to start methodically. So 1 is a factor of anything, okay? Come back over here, and I want to write that. 1 times 11. Okay, 1 times 11 gives me 11. Now your two numbers, your two partners, should equal that top number. Sorry. I want to write them, and now I want to write them the opposite way. Notice the reason why I do it going the wrong way. I know that I'm done because my numbers have switched. So I'm done because my numbers have switched. I shouldn't have the same partners twice. As soon as they flip-flop spots, I'm done. Now, this one's a little bit confusing because I didn't have anything in between. But basically what that means is that I only have one set of factors, and that's 1 and 11. So let's try it with another one, and you'll kind of see what happens when I have more than one, because 15, I have more than one partner. With my smaller number, like I'm working from small to big. So 1 times 15. Okay? So I want to come back over here and I want to write 3 times 5. Okay. And then, did I already write that one? Yeah, I already wrote that one. So as soon as I do that, as soon as I see that flip-flop, what do I know? As soon as I see that flip-flop, I'm done. So that means that my factors are 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. All right, let's try 36. Now, 36, all the way down this column, but I don't hit it. So let's just think to ourselves, 36. Well, I know it's going to be 1 times 36, because 1 times itself is always the number, right? So let's try going the wrong way. All right, so it's 2 times 18. I apologize, my phone's going off. 3 times 12. 4 times 9. Okay. And then 5, 6 times 6. When it's 6 times 6, I have the same exact numbers. So, well, 9 and 4 is an opposite to 4 and 9. So that means I'm done. When I get that 6 and 6, that equal balance of numbers, that means I have a perfect square. We haven't talked about that yet. It will come up. But basically, I am done. When I see that same number, that means I have a perfect square. And the perfect square is that number, okay? And that means I am done, okay? And these are all my factors. All right, so let's try 51. All right, so I can't do 51 from the start, but I know now that 51, 1 times 51, anything 1 times itself, is going to be factors. Odd number, writing in highlighter, 3 times 17, okay? Now, and that is the exact opposite, the mirror, and that means I'm done, and those are my factors, 1 times 51. All right, now, some of these, they're going to be numbers that you know or that you can easily figure out, and you don't have to rely on that multiplication chart if you don't need to. So again, like 60, that's an even number. So after you do 1 times 60, it's an even number. So cut it in half. 2 times 30, okay? 3 times 20. The difficulty is you don't want to miss a number. So again, 4 times 15, 5 times 12, I think it's 6 times 10, 7 doesn't work, 8 doesn't work, 9 doesn't work, 10 times 6, and looky there, you have the one that flips. So all of these are your factors. Okay, 72. 1 times 72, 2 times 36, 3 times, and maybe you come, whoops, 24, 4 times 18, 5 doesn't work, 6 times 12, 7 doesn't work, 8 times 9, and then we get 9 times 8. We know it's flipped, so we're done, and there's our factors. All right, 78's one that maybe you don't know off the top of your head as nicely as some of the other ones. So, but we do know 1 times 78. We definitely know 2 because, again, remember, 2, it's going to be divisible if, okay, if it's an even number, if it ends with 2, 4, 6, 8, or 0. So it's definitely going to be 2, and it's going to be 39. Okay, it's definitely going to be 3 because remember your 3 rule. That adds up to 15. So it's definitely going to be 3. Maybe we don't know what it is. So 3 times 26. And maybe the flip. So 13 times 6. And I always write my flip just to remind myself that I did find them all. All right, and then 120. So 1 times 120. 2 times 60. 3 times 40, 4 times 30, 5, I don't know it all. So it's going to be 5 times 24. I know it has to be less than 30 because I know my one column is going up, my other column is going down, right? 6 times 20, 7, 8, 9, 10 times 12, so it's 12 times 10. I've flipped, so there's all my factors. All right, go ahead and try the independent practice, and let me know how it goes.